Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell. Welcome to a new video, and welcome to Moscow City. I'm right in the center of Moscow today. I'm right under all the big skyscrapers, and I found a very interesting supermarket that I thought I'd take you for a walk around. It's not too far from here. First we're going to have a little walk around where I'm standing because it's really interesting, and we're going to head on inside and check this supermarket out. When Moscow City was being developed and built, they built a whole series of underground passages that would allow you to go between the different skyscrapers and buildings and not have to go outside, particularly for winter time. You don't want to be walking outside in the snow and the cold. So they built all of these passages that you can walk through and get to and from different places. Now, there is actually 3 supermarkets in this one undercroft of a building here. This is Kuzville, which is Tastyville. I think that's the best way to describe it. It's actually one of my wife's favorite shops. We actually call that the green shop because it has a lot of healthy food options in there, and it's got nice, enjoyable food. No matter what time of the day you go, no matter how hungry you are, you'll find something in Kuzville. There's a lot of cafes right here as well. Interestingly, French bakery. Now they're actually all over Moscow. I think they're also in other cities as well. And this is where a lot of people will enter and exit the immediate building that we're underneath, and then passage through to other buildings or go to the metro from here. There's 2 different metro lines. There's another coffee shop. And then if you are following the channel, you'll know that I went to a hypermarket Lenta recently, and this one is a mini Lenta. Now it's actually really not that small when you go inside. It's actually really big, but they call it a mini Lenta. There's another coffee shop here, and this is called Surf Coffee. I'm really not sure what the reference of surf is because there's no ocean nearby, there's no waves, so I'm not too sure. Maybe the owner went to the beach at some point and that's where it all came from. This is Coffix over here, which is one of the fixed price coffee places where you can get any choice of coffee from the menu for one price, and depending on what size of coffee you get, there's generally 3 different price points. And this is where we want to go to, Miratog. Now, I always pronounce it a little bit wrongly. There is also a burger cafe in here as well. Now, Mirtorg is very famous in Russia for producing meats and different types of meat products that they either sell in their own standalone stores like this, or they actually sell it on to other retailers who sell it in their supermarkets. Now, we're actually entering from what I think is the entrance to the store. What's very interesting is there's a couple of ATM machines right here. There's a vending machine for contact lenses, which is also a little bit different. Now, the one thing when you come in this entrance here, there's no checkouts to walk back out of the store, and there's nobody here, literally no security or anybody. There is such a trust factor in Russia that people will naturally walk in, they'll buy what they want, and pay at the other end and walk on out. Lots of different drinks, quite a lot of Russian products here. There is actually no foreign drinks that I can see. There is some more sodas there as well. Selection of waters. Okay, I did spot one. There's Dr. Pepper, and the white label here, meaning that it's imported. So the packaging wasn't made for Russian market. So it'll have come from somewhere and then getting sold here in this store. Now, the way I saw this before I actually came across the store, I thought this was just a small walk-in mini supermarket. And I'm a little bit wrong as we walk around and see here how big it is. There's some fresh fruits and berries right there. The strawberries are very small because it's out of season. But no matter when you come to a supermarket in Russia, you can buy them. This is actually a self-serve coffee machine. So you just choose the size of the cup that you want, press the button, walk through to the exit, and then you can pay. There's even some ice creams. The one thing with Miratorg is when you walk around the store, they're always a little bit confusing and they've got things all over the place. There is a method to their madness, I'm sure, but even for someone like me who knows supermarkets very well, I still can't figure out their display techniques. I think all of these different brands approach them and ask to put their products on display somewhere, and they just get put wherever they get placed. There's some nuts right there, dried fruits, and they also have a nice selection of fruits and vegetables. Grapes are looking very good. Lots of apples, and there is a little bit of vegetables, I think. Now, of course, we're right in the center of Moscow city here. There is some housing here, particularly in the skyscraper buildings, but it's not a very populated part of Moscow where people live. Predominantly, most people that would come to the buildings here to work would then go home by metro or by train to leave. There is some other juices, some more fruits. A lot of the fruits here are packaged in smaller single serve sizes. I would imagine they're marketing a lot of this towards the ready meal shoppers who probably work in these buildings and come on in. They've got lots of vegetables refrigerated as well. There's also a gentleman running around doing a bit of replenishing and changing the shelves. Now, this is what Miratog is very famous for, is its meats. And I've actually pointed this out in a few other supermarkets that are not this brand, that they sell this brand of meats in other branded supermarkets. Hope that's making sense. And they have some very nice meat choices. There is chicken and pork, I think, around the corner, but a lot of the beef products right here. And as we're walking around, maybe I can do this in one take. There's some watermelons. Wouldn't be so handy to take that back to work unless you've got a knife and a bit of space. And this is the actual self-weighing scales for the fruits and vegetables. So you bring them over here, you choose which one that you've picked, and it'll actually put the sticker for the weight of the product onto the bag there, which is really nice. Now this little hectic layout of the shop continues. Now I really like this format of shop. I like Miratog a lot. We have one in the town where I live. It's actually a more traditional looking supermarket layout than this one, where this is in the undercroft of the building. I just noticed here they've got the Coca-Cola fridge, and it's got the famous Dobro brand in the fridge. They do actually have Coca-Cola back here in the Coca-Cola fridge, and this is imported. I think this might be Polish, I think. I'm not 100% sure. It's either Polish or Turkish Coca-Cola in the Coca-Cola fridge in Moscow. Continuing to walk around, lots of beers. Miratog is also well known for their beer and wine selection and the vast assortment of beers, and a lot of imported beers as well, not just Russian domestic brands. So there's a good chance you'll find something here. Lots of the microbrew products as well, so not necessarily just the bigger, famous Russian brands. A lot of smaller breweries from Russia. A lot of people really enjoy coming to this supermarket as well for the different selection of foods and different brands that are not necessarily in the mainstream supermarkets in Russia. Of course, we all know Lay's very well, but a lot of the other products here are the smaller manufacturers of chips and snacks and corn chips as well. We've got some nice jams right here. And these are the different crackers. There's lots of jams right there as well. Now, of course, as I'm walking around and pointing out what I'm seeing, I mean, you can make what you like of the way I explain it. So Mirtorg Branding is on all of the frozen and refrigerated meats, fish products right here. There's also pizzas. These brand of supermarkets makes a lot of the products under their own label for their own sale in their own supermarkets. And they're very well known for that. And a lot of people will come shopping here just because of the nicer quality of meat products that they have. Another one of these tables set up with a bit of a confusion of what's on there. And then another fridge. Got some mayonnaise. Now we're in the center of Moscow, in Moscow City, and the eggs are 95 cents for a box of 10. And there's a couple of other types as well, but the basic box of eggs is just as cheap as buying it at any supermarket in Russia. It doesn't necessarily mean it's higher just because we're in the center of the city here. It would be assumed that, correct, that things would be higher price, but as I'm walking around, it really isn't. And some pickled vegetables right there. Very nice. Not too sure again if you buy those to take to work, if you are shopping here for something for lunch. There's more imported drinks in here. And I just noticed on the shelf here, 7-Up. I think a lot of people would know that. If you're not from Russia, it's a very well-known international brand. And then the rest of the meat section on this side. It seems like every fridge has some beer in it. Have you noticed how I've walked around? There's a beer fridge nearby the meats. I think that's just a subtle reminder to, grab some beer when you're grabbing your meats. Lots of hams. And there's some different sliced meats here as well. Has anybody had sliced duck before? Let me know. I don't think I've ever had sliced duck. I think I've been to a Chinese restaurant and had it, but not sliced like that. This is where the supermarket gets really interesting as I walk further into the back, and you think that it was just a small place when you walked in, and you'd be very wrong how many choices of products there are, how diverse their selection is, how they've got almost half of the store refrigerated. Here's the yogurts. And this is probably the little surprise of the supermarket right here, is this cafe in the back. And have a look at how nice this is. This is a supermarket. So there's actually a kitchen at the back, and everybody can come and sit down and have lunch. And the regular part of the supermarket continues. I'm going to save walking up there for a few minutes from now, because that's also quite unique. But check this out. How nice is this? A sit-down cafe in a supermarket in Moscow City. And it doesn't mean you have to go to a fancy place because you're in the center of the city. You can come to a normal supermarket, buy some food, and sit down and have lunch. This fridge has got a lot of ready meals, lots of salads. So Miratorg also prepare a lot of these off-site, and they send them to the different stores for daily sale, rather than making them in kitchens on site. There's soups right there. And then the cafe continues. We've also got nice lighting here too. You can just see the street level up here where the buildings and the road meet up. Now this is probably the most famous part of Miratorg, is their burger and fries cafe. And because they're very well known for their meats, they're probably more famous for their burgers. And they have a very nice selection of burgers right here. And I think whoever's ordering a burger is getting Coke. Burger, fries, and a Coke in Moscow. And the ladies actually make them right there on the grill at the back. So they're actually made to order. They're not something that's from packaging. They literally grill them as you order them. There's also pizzas as well. And they've got the pizza oven back there. And it's either by the slice or you can get the whole pizza. Very nice choice of pizzas. And then they also have a small bakery back here too. Now I hope this video is not going to run too long. I was thinking it's a small mini supermarket and it wouldn't be, but it's kind of going on and on. Have a look at all the nice pastries and donuts. Very nice donut selection. And also breads. And they've got the ovens that do the breads in the store here as well. I've actually wanted to make a video in a Miratorg for quite a long time. And I was originally going to film the one in my town. And when I went there, this was a little while ago, the guy that was at the front, the security, got a little bit emotional about me wanting to film in that supermarket. So it's a bit of a bonus. I'm here in Moscow City and I can take a walk around of this particular one. I promised I'd come back to this little spot right here. Now I think the stickers on the door give it away. We're not going to go through that door. We're going to go through this little passageway that they've made into a alcohol section. And this is still inside the supermarket. And it's its own little mini alcohol area here with vodkas and different wines and champagnes. And have a look at the selection. And I like how it's got the mood lighting in here as well. All the different whiskies. There's some aged whiskies as well there. And then in the store here we can see all of the different wines and champagnes. Now there is the part where you'd walk out and pay for the products right here, so that's not a problem. But just the fact that it's all just open like this. My wife's favorite drink, Aperol, is more than available in Russia, despite people's understanding of the news that it's not. Champagnes and a very nice selection of wines. And the store where I live, they've got a nook in the store like this as well. It's probably a little bit bigger than this. I just like the fact that it's just so open and you can walk in and hopefully find something that you want and then walk out and pay for it. Another reason a lot of people like this brand of supermarket is for the imported nature of a lot of products. So where you'd go to a more traditional supermarket or wine store, you wouldn't find a lot of the Western brands in the section. So Cointreau right there, Bailey's. Bailey's is still in Russia, despite the fact that Diageo left Russia a long time ago. All of the brands are right here on the shelf. Down the bottom, Amarettos. So there is plenty of choices. That dark lighting in the alcohol section was making me a bit sleepy, so I thought I'd come out to the bright lights of the main store. We're not too far from doing the whole walk around. Nice selection of coffees and endless amounts of sweets and snacks, Milka biscuits. I wonder if anybody watching recognizes some of the brands. There's quite a lot of Western brands in this supermarket that you won't find in other shops. Made in France, right there. And there's stuff here from Turkey as well. So it's a very Western selection of food. And now I have to give a shout out to David in Italy, one of my Telegram channel members who's very active in the Telegram group. The Italian chocolate right there. And there's also German chocolate. So there is all the choices. Nice box chocolates as well. I like to call them luxury chocolates. These are really the more fancier ones. And then somewhere back here is the point where you can walk out and pay for things that you've come shopping for. I do find it interesting that we're in the absolute center of Moscow, here by all of the big skyscrapers, and the supermarket still has the full line of products, not just convenience store selections. They've got everything that they'd have in their normal Miratog supermarket, and they put it into this store in this shopping center here in this undercroft of this building. Personal care items, and then somewhere here is where you walk out and pay for the items. Now, we did get lots and lots of people comment about the paper plates and plastic plates in Russia and how they're available in most countries around the world. I talked about how in Australia now they're all not allowed to be sold, particularly all these plastic ones, and they're going with all the different eco types of still disposable tableware. So this is the grab and go style of fridge that I like to see, where it's got yogurts on it. It doesn't just have fizzy drinks. And then this is the part where you can actually pay and walk out of the store. So there is a cashier right here if you want to line up and do the payment at the counter. Now, all of the shelves behind right there are all the different tobacco products. They can't be publicly displayed in Russia, but yet here they're for sale, but they're all blocked from viewing. And then there's the self-checkout, so you can literally just pay yourself. You don't have to go to the lady to pay for goods, but it's really up to you how you want to do the checkout. And this is the little bit strange part of the shop for me. So this is the traditional exit of the store, but the shop continues on with pet food, cleaning products, and then more personal care items. So this is the back end of the store where you leave from, and there's just a confusion when you walk around, especially where we came in at the very beginning, right? You could just grab something and leave out that door, but naturally everybody comes to this end of the shop to leave and pay and then walk out. As I make my way out of Miratorg, I really hope you've enjoyed this walk around of another Russian typical supermarket. Now, Miratorg, the actual brand, they have hundreds of these stores throughout Russia. They're in all cities of Russia. It's not something that's a Moscow only brand. It's a very well known meat brand. Their actual burgers are probably as famous as the supermarket itself, and then the different meat products that you can buy in other supermarket chains. Imagine, they're so well known, they sell their products in other supermarkets. So I hope that's at least give you a better understanding of the brand, and I'm so happy that I've managed to make a video at one of their stores to put on the channel as I try to navigate my way back out of the shopping plaza here and head up to the street level and then find my metro station to go home. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. That's always nice. If you perhaps want to comment about it, maybe you're from Russia and you shop at this chain of supermarkets, maybe you've never seen it before, and it's just very interesting, even in this lower level of this tower right here, the fact that there's so many supermarkets. There's 3 within 30 meters of each other. And is there that many people shopping here? I think there are. I mean, you'd have to think there's quite a lot of thousands of people in each of these different towers here in Moscow City. If you want to follow me on Telegram, I'll put the link for you right there. There's the group and chat that I'm very active in. If you want to see an older video on the channel, you can click the link to see an older video right now. Maybe something you've not watched before will come up. Thanks everybody, and off on another adventure. Bye.